Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome to another review. This time, I'll be looking at a Marvel film, but this one does not come from the MCU. So what is it? Well, let's go back to 2007. It was a time when the Order of the Phoenix and At World's End were out. A time when people actually hated Emo Peter in Spider-Man 3. And a time where Nicolas Cage didn't deal with money troubles. And also played a superhero. Yep, that's right, we're talking about the Ghost Rider movie. Released on February 16, 2007, the film was based on the famous Marvel comic series, which was created by Gary Friedrich, Roy Thomas, and Mike Ploog in 1972. It mostly followed a biker named Johnny Blaze, who sold his soul to Mephisto to save his father from cancer. The cancer is cured, but his father tragically dies in a motorcycle stunt gone wrong. But the deal between Johnny and Mephisto was sealed. While Roxanne Simpson does save Johnny from being taken away to hell, Mephisto managed to put a curse on Johnny. He bonded him with the demon Zarathos, and whenever he's surrounded by evil, he turns into the Ghost Rider. For a while, Johnny took up the mantle before the torch was passed on to other people. Now, some may say they haven't read all the Ghost Rider stories, but many people do recognize him immediately. I mean, he is a flaming skeleton that wears a black biker outfit and rides a flaming motorcycle. It's kind of hard to mistake him with someone else. Anyway, the fans finally got to see this character on the big screen, and have it be portrayed by the one and only Nicolas Cage. How did it go? Well, from a box office standpoint, it was fine. But from a critical standpoint, not so much. Some found it goofy, clumsy, and some even hated it. Cage even got a Razzie Award nomination for his performance, despite being a big fan of the character himself. Now, on the one hand, I can understand why some don't like it. It is conventional, a little generic, silly, and not the best adaptation it could have been. But, on the other hand, I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it to this day. Why? Well, let me break it down. Let's start with the summary, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts afterwards. The film story does start off almost like the comic. Johnny Blaze and his father Barton Blaze are a motorcycle stunt duo who wow the crowds with their shows. Johnny has a girlfriend named Roxanne and things seem to be good. But things start to derail when Johnny finds out Roxanne is moving away, so they plan to run away together. But things get more complicated when he finds out his father has cancer. Feeling desperate, he gets a visit from Mephisto and makes a deal with him. He'll cure Johnny's father in exchange for Johnny's soul. Well, the good news is his father is cured the very next day. The bad news is that he dies in a stunt gone wrong. Johnny accuses Mephisto of killing him, but he defends himself by saying that he was going by what the deal said. Now Johnny is all his, and he gets the spirit of Zarathos inside him, which will take over once Mephisto needs his services. Because of that, Johnny can't run off with his girlfriend like they planned, and he leaves her. Years go by, and Johnny has now become a world-famous motorcycle stuntman. But he's still haunted by what happened to him, and despite sustaining injuries that would kill most people, he knows that Mephisto is keeping him alive for some kind of purpose. Well, that purpose involves the villain of the movie, Blackheart, along with his minions from Hell. They've come to Earth to look for a contract that will basically bring all hell on Earth. Mephisto shows up and tells Johnny that he'll get his soul back once he takes care of Blackheart and his cronies. That's when Johnny turns into the Ghost Rider for the first time. And yeah, that effect still looks good even today. At first he starts off a bit shaky with Blackheart's minions, but he does manage to kill one of them with his chain. Then later he takes an evil soul to hell by using the Ghost Rider's greatest weapon, the penance stare. This makes the victim feel all the torment they conducted on every slain soul before they go to hell. Afterwards, the sun comes up and Johnny returns to normal. Yeah, during the nighttime he turns into Ghost Rider, but when it's daytime, his power is gone. That's when he comes across the Caretaker, who not only heals his wounds, but tells him more about the Ghost Rider and the villains he's facing. He also acts like a mentor to him, trying to help Johnny on his quest. So Johnny knows that he must take down Blackheart and the others before all hell is unleashed on Earth. Along the way, Johnny reunites with his old flame, Roxanne, runs from the law when they accuse him of killing someone that was actually killed by Blackheart, and takes down the other minions before facing Blackheart one-on-one. There's action, romance, drama, all that superhero stuff. So that's the story. What are my thoughts? Well, based on the short summary, it kind of sounds like a generic superhero plot, but with demons, fire, and hell. And yeah, it kinda is. Like I said, I do enjoy this film, but I'm not gonna ignore the problems. The writing is too cliched, not that original, and it can get pretty silly. Now, all that stuff can be fine if it manages to suck you into its world. And while I do enjoy it, I'd be lying if I said I was completely sucked into it. It's a standard good versus evil story, except with Ghost Rider. Now, if you are a Ghost Rider fan and have read the comics, I'm sure you could tell me that there are a lot of interesting stories to tell. A lot of them probably more interesting than this. I mean, having Blackheart, his minions, and Mephisto in the movie sounds cool, but it's not executed as well as it could have been. For example, I like Peter Fonda, and he does give a decent and creepy performance, but he could have been better. And let's be honest, this is Mephisto. This looks like an actual king of hell. This guy just looks like a weird salesman with a kind of cool voice, but he mostly just stands around and doesn't do much. Wes Bentley as Blackheart is kind of an okay idea. He does give it his all, his character is deadly, he doesn't have a soul, so Ghost Rider can't just simply use his penance stare on him, and it looks like Wes is having a lot of fun with the role. But again, the writing and direction really let him down. First, there are the standard villain lines you've heard a million times.
We're not gonna have a meaningful conversation now, are we?
You're going down.
I don't think so.
Now, listen to me, and try to get it through that thick skull of yours.
This stupid line.
I'm not going back. I like it here.
His evil plan isn't that compelling. He looks like someone dressing up for Halloween sometimes. His jump scares may have been scary to me when I was 7 years old, but not as an adult. And his ultimate demise is really dumb. Spoiler alert, the contract makes him consume all these dead souls so that he can become Legion. But unfortunately, that allows Ghost Rider to burn all those souls and kill him with his penance stare. Oops. Now look, you've heard me criticize how the villains look in this movie, but I can understand why the movie couldn't make them look like their comic versions. I mean, when a lot of the budget has to go to Ghost Rider's effects, there's gonna be some sacrifices. Plus, even if they tried to make them look like their comic versions, it probably wouldn't look good and age like sour milk. I mean, have you seen the demon that was in the Spawn movie? That came out in 1997. That looked bad then, and it looks even worse now. Having the villains in human form is disappointing, but I can understand why it had to be done. If the movie was made today, maybe there could have been a way to have them look like this, maybe with a bigger budget perhaps, but that's not the end of the issues. Some of the comedy isn't that great. Nick Cage can act well in some scenes, but not in others. His romance with Roxanne isn't the most fleshed out. The caretaker really should have joined Ghost Rider in his final fight instead of just wasting his last time as the Rider by giving directions. And in the end, this movie will never be a great superhero movie. But, despite that, there is some good stuff. And most of that comes from the scenes when Ghost Rider is on screen. This movie came out in 2007, and the effect looks damn good even today, especially when he gets the spiky jacket and gloves. Only one word can describe this look: badass. Honestly, there were plenty of badass moments. Getting hit by a truck and coming out like nothing happened, punching the crap out of this guy, killing him with his chain, getting a knife in his shoulder, but he's like, doesn't hurt. Using the penance stare for the first time, fighting back against the inmates, giving the police the bird while driving his flaming motorcycle on water, driving up the side of a building, hooking a helicopter with his chain, the ways he takes down the rest of Blackheart's minions, and of course, this landing. There are plenty of moments like that in this movie. It shows you that it had potential to be great. But there's more. When we find out who the caretaker really is and he rides off with Johnny in the desert, it leads to not only one of the best shots in the film, but one of the best visuals in superhero film history. I'm not kidding, I'm serious. is some nice cinematography here and there. The motorcycle stunts are really cool. There are some funny bits of comedy here and there.
Get the front end down! Oh, damn it!
Blaze is down!
Have you tried not crashing?
Have you? You should be taking a dirt nap after that ragdoll today.
I got lucky.
I got a hunting dog named Lucky. He's got one eye and no nuts.
Roxanne isn't a bad love interest. She even gets to kick some ass too. She literally blows off Blackheart's head with a shotgun. That's something that even the live-action modern superhero love interest like Lois Lane never got to do. And also, this may be a controversial take, but I don't mind Johnny not giving back the power of the Ghost Rider to Mephisto. Now, when you think about it, it seems too good to be true. It seems like an easy choice. He beat Blackheart, fulfilled his bargain, and now he can get his soul and life back. It would have been so easy for him to take this path. But he doesn't, because he knows that if he does give up his power, Mephisto will just move on and keep making these deals with other innocent lives, and nobody will be powerful enough to stop him. He knows that with his power, he can beat Mephisto someday. That's why he says that he will own his curse, use it against Mephisto, and become the Spirit of Vengeance. While I personally think Cage could have been given better direction in this scene, the scene is still meaningful in its own way. It wasn't an easy choice to make, and even Johnny wishes that things could have been different. But this is his life now, and he knows he must do whatever he can as Ghost Rider to make the world better by keeping Mephisto and everything else from harming Earth. And even though he does leave Roxanne again, they at least get to have closure, say goodbye to each other, and it is sweet that their last kiss takes place at the same tree they went to when they were kids. To me, while not perfect, the ending was satisfactory and gives you a sense that Johnny has grown and will continue to do what's right. Until the sequel, where he is desperate to give up his power again. Yeah, I don't like the sequel. You want to see a horrible Ghost Rider movie? That's the one. Anyway, in conclusion, the first Ghost Rider film is not great. It's cliched, predictable, silly, and it could have had better writing and direction. But, on the other hand, some of the visuals are nice, the music is excellent, some of the acting is nice, there was some good action, the pacing was decent, and yeah, Ghost Rider still looks good over 15 years later. Yeah, I know some like Ghost Rider 2's design, it's fine, but I'm sorry, I'll take number 1 any day. The second movie can go suck it. Oh, what's that? I'm too harsh on it? Show mercy? Well, sorry, all out of mercy. Yeah, I'll admit, there are some good lines in the movie too. So, what's the best final score to give it? Well, for being a guilty pleasure, having some cool stuff, and giving me some fond childhood memories, I'll be nice and give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, just like everyone's hero, it's not great, but their hearts are in the right place, and I still enjoy them all these years later. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this review and what you think of Ghost Rider. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you grow up with it? Did you find it to be a guilty pleasure too? And most importantly, is it better than the new Flash movie? Well, regardless of what you think, there is one thing that's certain. The first and second Ghost Rider movies made more money combined than the Flash movie. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam, and good night, everybody.